Let's kick off this week with a short trip over there to Dublin Airport, where I spoke to Carl Ford from Birmingham, plane spotter extraordinaire. Now, before we ask Carl how he became interested in plane spotting, let's soak up some of the sounds and atmosphere you can get over there at the side of a very busy runway.
I used to be into steam trains until they all went in about 1967, and I found myself without an hobby for about 12 months, and I was working with a guy who was interested in aircraft, and I used to build model aircraft, so it went from there. So from 68 I found myself a new hobby.
So from the small little model aircraft, and I think most people who own them, the little model ones, they actually, in their mind's eye, pretend that they're actually bigger than they are. But you've gone on straight onto the big stuff.
It wasn't the actual flyable models that I used to do. It was the kits,
yes,
the Airfix kits and that sort of stuff. But
and what's the fascination now in standing here and looking at the planes? I mean, most people would maybe slow down and look and go off.
Well, my main interest is photography. I like to photograph the aircraft. I'll go all over Europe. I've been to the States and South America and Caribbean and round quite a few countries photographing just aircraft. Like I've been for a fortnight to the States and travelled from coast to coast on bus and had two nights in a hotel in a fortnight and slept on Greyhound buses and in hire cars the rest of the time. So
all in pursuit of your hobby.
Yeah.
I suppose if you were on Mastermind, I think I would have an idea of what your subject would be.
I think you'd perhaps be right, yeah. Yeah.
What would you see here in Dublin Airport that you wouldn't see in Birmingham? Is there any difference in the type of air transport that you would see?
Yeah, you get different aircraft in any airport, really. You get good stuff coming in here for maintenance, but you're just lucky to actually catch them when they arrive or depart from the hangars. But like today, I've just got the Air Portugal A340 Airbus, which I think they have been into Heathrow a few times, but I've never seen any before. So it was worth coming for those. And yesterday I got a Rich International TriStar. I've seen them in Miami, but I haven't been able to photograph them, so it was worth coming to Dublin to get a shot. They are based in Miami, but...
And I see you drove to Dublin?
Yeah. I come over on the boat, and I'm staying down in Julianstown, so with the mother-in-law, who... she's very good to me.
We're just talking about, like, you would know the type of specifications of plane, like the speed they build up on the runway takeoff. Would you have an idea of that type of... Would you have that information, depending on the plane, of course?
I do sort of read little bits and pieces about it, but I wouldn't be sort of really up on it. I'm more into the actual liveries on the aircraft and the construction numbers, who buys the aircraft from new, where it goes to when it's leased out or when it's sold. I've got about 18,000 slides at home, plus quite a few photographs on prints, and I update the list of slides as I find out what's happened to aircraft, whether they've actually been broken up or whether they've crashed or been preserved, whatever, and I mark them off in different coloured marker pens in my book. So in my list of slides, I can sort of look through it, and they're colour coded, and any that's colour coded sort of yellow, green or red, I know whether they've either crashed, been written off or they're preserved, so I know what's happened to the aircraft log.
What would you say if you take your best top three aircraft that you've seen that impressed you? What are the top three aircraft that would impress you?
Today or?
Yeah.
I haven't really seen any new aircraft today, but I like the A340 Airbus and the A330. I think they're real nice aircraft.
And what about the liveries? That that's the colour,
the
corporate
colour
image.
scheme, yeah.
What who's got the most fanciful, or what are the ones that you would say if you were giving awards, who would you give awards to?
It's difficult, that one, really. I don't really know. I know Braniff Airlines in the States used to be one of my favourites. The aircraft was all painted in different pastel colour schemes, like green, blue, red, plum, cherry. There was all different colours with like matching trim. But
that's very good. Here's another. What's this now?
It's Ryanair 737.
A hell of a noise.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I must say the Ryanair are very clean looking. They're a nice looking. The livery on them is very attractive, isn't it?
That's right. It is a very nice. I think it's a brilliant colour scheme. The blue and yellow goes very well together.
Of all the time that you spent at the back of airports or the side of runways, have anything unusual happened? Have you witnessed anything, or has anything unusual happened to you?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago now. I was at the air show at Fairford, where I go every year. I never miss the International Air Tattoo. And I usually go for the arrival days, which are 3 days before the air show. I photograph all the aircraft on arrival. And then when the air show's on, I used to go in a caravan. I got my camper now. I usually get up, I have a lie-in on the Saturday when the air show's on. And I have a ride on my bike up to the end of the runway, and I just watch a little bit of the air show from the end of the runway. And 2 years ago, I expect most people know what happened. There was some Russian MiGs which collided. I happened to be right on the end of the runway, not even in the air show, and they collided right in front of me, and I recorded it on camera. I just bought a motor drive for me camera. Second hand for £200 just before I went away, and I was thinking to myself, can I really justify paying £200 for this motor drive? But it's paid for itself now, like, because I've sold, not on the day. I could have sold them on the day if I'd have perhaps used my loaf a bit, but I've sold them since to an international photograph agency, and they're still selling. They're on slides, the originals, and they've sold in about 12 or 13 different countries now, to books, magazines, and that sort of stuff. I reeled 14 shots off of the incident, right from the collision till the first aircraft hit the ground, and I've got photographs of the pilots coming down on the chutes and everything. So
they actually walked away from that one?
Yeah, they did, yeah. It's nice to say that I've got the photographs, and there was no one. There was no one killed. The only guy who was injured was a Belgian Air Force air crew who was stood on the wing of a Hercules aircraft underneath when they crashed. And as they was coming down, he thought they was coming on top of him, and he jumped or fell off the top of the wing of the Hercules and broke his leg. But the aircraft luckily hit the perimeter fence and went into some woods. So. There was no one.
I remember that because the two pilots, they were very casual and they just strolled away.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't actually see them strolling away, like only on the video afterwards. But well,
that was amazing. That was like for somebody so interested to be actually there and to witness something like that. Particularly when nobody got hurt over it, and so that was certainly something. And not only that, but you managed to make it profitable as well.
Yeah,
it was very good.
It really shakes you up when you see something like that. I mean, I couldn't stop shaking. I got on my bike. My wife
Thank you, Carl Ford there from Birmingham, talking about his special hobby, plane spotting. Now let's go back out onto the Dublin Airport Road, and we're turning right towards Dublin. And if you walk down that road about 700 or 800 yards and turn right, where would you be?
Hi, you're at Kart City in Santry, which is a go-kart track. We also have rough terrain buggies, and we're hoping to develop the place into a family centre. It's mainly motorsport oriented, but we have Ireland's only fleet of junior karts for 8 to 12-year-olds, and then we've regular karts for 12 up, or else 4.5 feet is what you have to be able to reach the pedals on the regular karts. We've an indoor track, which is quite a small circuit. We're extending that now in a couple of weeks, but the tracks, the karts are fairly fast on that. They do up to about 35 miles an hour. And then we have an outdoor circuit, which is very long. It's about a 40-second lap. And the karts do about 40 miles an hour on that track. So it has straights, chicanes, hairpin bends and stuff. So it's a bit of fun. A few years ago, I got involved with 98 FM and helped set up the Black Thunder team. So I was in promotions, and I did a couple of promotions for the two guys who were setting up Kart City. And from there, then they asked me to come and join the team here at Kart City. So I've been here since.
Yeah. Your customers, what age range would you say?
Well, there'd be a slight male bias on it, but it would be mostly from 8 years up. We've got a very broad cross-section of people, everything from families arriving at the weekend to busloads of kids, school kids coming, junior parties, kids parties, and also then we have a lot of corporate. Up to about a year ago, we were sort of 20% corporate, 80% arrive and drive, and now we're sort of 60% corporate, and the rest is arrive and drive. So
isn't it amazing when you don't know anything about an industry, and all of a sudden there's terminology, arrive and drive.
Yeah.
I love it.
Practice sessions are arrive and drive, yeah, is what we call it. Well, what happens is you arrive, you register, you get your suit, your helmet and your gloves, and then you get a briefing and explained safety procedures, do's and don'ts, how the cart works, etc. And then you race for different periods of time, either 15 minutes or 25 minutes. So that's an arrive and drive, a practice session. And then other than that, you can do like a full Grand Prix race meeting whereby there are heats, qualifying rounds, semi-finals, a final, and then there's a bottle of champagne for the winner. So that's a lot more intense, as you can imagine.
Yeah. The cost, what does that normally cost?
Well, an arrive and drive session can cost anything from £6 up to £15 per head, or a Grand Prix then is £20 a head. So Grand Prix lasts, for 10 people it would last about an hour and a half.
Mention girls, and I know they're not the majority here, but for what reasons would you think they come down? What attracts them, would you think?
Well, a lot of the groups that we get out would be company groups. We get a lot of the financial institutions. We get from everywhere. We get everything from taxi drivers right through to Allied Irish Bank, Super Crazy Prices, you name it. We get a lot of groups from the airport as well. And there would be, maybe 60-40 male-female. But it would be a company outing. Or it might be a sales incentive where they'd all arrive and go out for the night. They'd race first and then they'd go off into town afterwards. So the girls have an advantage in that they're lighter and they can build up speeds quicker. So all you need are a bit of...
What kind of reactions do you get when people get off these go-karts? I mean, what's the general reaction? The people have never done it before.
Well, people who've never done it before, they get such an incredible buzz out of it because it's the feeling of speed. You're driving at 40 miles an hour, an inch off the ground, and they would swear they're doing 110 miles an hour. And also people turn into complete maniacs. They might be the most civil together person before they start, but when it comes to the final or semi-finals, they would kill now to win. It's unbelievable.
Yes, the competitive instinct
It's
comes up right up front.
Absolutely amazing.
Right.
We've seen some sites